And we have a lot more on those lights for you coming up here at 11 o'clock. But first tonight, should the state of Kentucky join other states of the country now offering compensation to those who were wrongfully convicted? It is our top story on the WHAS 11 night team. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt. Louisville Metro Council is moving to create a wrongful conviction day to push this along. WHAS 11 night team's Clary Shaley and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie are talking to those cleared of their crimes.
The Louisville Jefferson County Metro Council making October 22nd Wrongful Conviction Day. The goal to honor those who've been cleared, exonerated of serious crimes. Michael Von Allman convicted of rape, theft, and sodomy, now free and clear.
It was a never-ending nightmare.
And Johnetta Carr, convicted of murder, cleared.
It was a never-ending question of why is this happening to me? I can't believe this, and it was like a nightmare.
Serving seemingly endless time.
I had fought as hard as I could, did everything I could to prove my innocence for 11 years.
Taking a toll on mental health.
And I just still continue to sit there for this crime I didn't commit or have nothing to do with. And it was very, very, very hard mentally, and it still is today.
Kentucky is one of a dozen states that doesn't pay back those cleared of crimes. Representative Jason Nemes, the Republican from Eastern Jefferson County, backs the move to compensate these people. But his bill got caught up in the budget.
And when that happens, when it's a mistake that's been done, and when they can prove actual innocence, they have to prove actual innocence. When they can do that, I think the state has an obligation to try to put them back on their feet and make up for the problems that have been caused.
Nemes plans to bring the bill back this upcoming session. Von Allman and Carr believe this resolution pushes it forward.
It's finally getting it out there enough to where legislators vote on it. And this is just part of the process of raising this awareness.
Even if you spend a day, for a crime you didn't commit, you deserve, some type of something to help you feel whole again and some type of accountability.
Both hope in this next legislative session that lawmakers more strongly consider a bill they say will help put them a step closer to justice. In Louisville, Clary Shaley with photojournalist Elijah McKenzie, WHAS 11 night team on your side.
Right now, there are about 22 exonerees statewide in Kentucky, and 7 are right here in Louisville. Meantime, bringing reinforcements to handle the ongoing violent crime in Louisville. Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman in the city of Louisville announcing a new partnership.
Historically, the Office of the Kentucky Attorney General has not had an active role in law enforcement here in Jefferson County. That ends now.
The Kentucky Attorney General there will now send 2 prosecutors and a detective from his office to take on violent criminal cases in Louisville Metro. The group will mostly be focused on non-fatal shootings and convicted felons who are in possession of a firearm. For mothers like Krista Gwynn, who lost her son to gun violence and whose daughter is physically impaired because of it, it's a welcome partnership.
I'm a mother who's not afraid to fight for my children, your children, his children. Just because they don't live in my neighborhood don't mean that they don't feel the same pain I feel. And I demand my children to be protected by all means, and these men and women standing behind me are going to do that.
Last year, Louisville experienced more than 400 non-fatal shootings, and this year there have been nearly 300 so far. Prosecutors hope with the addition of this brand new legal team, it can make a real difference in continuing to see violent crime numbers fall across the city.
I am a mama. I was raised here, I raised a daughter here, and I want something better for our children and for those to come. And we are symbiotic, whether we like it or not, and we get along very well, but we don't agree on everything. But we can't do this without his office.
Jarena Weathers, the Jefferson County Commonwealth's attorney, speaking there. Coleman did say he will be limiting the number of cases his office is going to take on in order to get good outcomes. Right here new tonight, another JCPS high school is going to be tightening their safety rules for a Friday night football game starting tomorrow night. Valley Station announcing in a social media post that it's going to be adding new safety measures similar to those announced by Fern Creek High School just yesterday. Both schools say they are going to be using metal detector wands on all visitors before entering the game. Fans cannot wear any masks or bring backpacks or bags to the game or the event. Everyone under age 18 must have a student ID for the 2 schools playing or be accompanied by a legal guardian. You will not be allowed to leave and re-enter the games. These new guidelines come after 2 teenage boys were shot right outside the PRP football game more than 2 weeks ago on a Sunday night. The 17-year-old died from his injuries in the hospital earlier this week. Now we're moving to the aftermath of Hurricane Milton in Florida. Drone footage showing you the destruction. It's nearly everywhere in its path. Florida state leaders today saying the storm did not turn into their worst-case scenario, but still proved to be a major nightmare. Milton dumping 18 inches of rain on the city of Tampa Bay. In St. Petersburg, home of the Tampa Bay Rays, their stadium right here nearly destroyed, as you can see from this drone footage showing the remnants of what was once a fabric roof on the stadium, ripped off by the powerful winds. First responders who had been using the stadium as a staging and protective area, they luckily got out of there before the storm hit. Well, Milton made landfall as a powerful Category 3 monster storm, bringing a hurricane surge of nearly 10 feet of water. New information on the number of dead tonight. ABC News reporting late tonight that 13 people have died, all linked to the hurricane and tornadoes. That's a number that is still expected to rise again. ABC's Jacqueline Lee, who surveyed the aftermath, has the latest from St. Petersburg.
A rescue and the recovery effort after Hurricane Milton tore through much of Florida. Crews in water up to their waists and using boats to find people who need help.
But I'm just glad we're out and to safety. And to where we can charge up our phones because I don't have any power because of my family is probably wondering where I'm at.
The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office sharing this video as 2 deputies helped a teen boy wading through floodwater. The Category 3 hurricane made landfall Wednesday night, more than 3 million people without power. In St. Pete, a massive crane collapsing onto a building. Part of the roof of Tropicana Field, home of the Tampa Bay Rays, ripped off. From above, you can see debris littering the field. Christy Austin lives right next door.
Sounded like waves hitting our windows. I got rain up to practically my knees in my apartment. Just sounded like the ocean was hitting the windows and the water was just pouring through.
These images from Bradenton Beach, just north of Siesta Key, showing a home off its foundation. This area also hit hard by Helene. From the air, you can see the damage. Some homes obliterated. The roof caved in at this grocery store in Palm Beach County. There were also tornadoes before the hurricane even made landfall. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says Milton spared Florida the worst case scenario.
Doesn't mean there's not going to be a lot of damage. Doesn't mean there's not going to be a lot we're going to have to contend with. But just in terms of what we were prepped for, I think that we probably have an abundance of resources.
Vice President Harris and I have been in constant contact with the state and local officials. We're offering everything they need.
Meteorologists say Milton is the 3rd hurricane to make landfall in Florida this year, tying the record for the most in a single season. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, St. Petersburg.
And all news since 6 o'clock right here on the night team. Several places in Kentuckiana have been stepping up to help those impacted by Hurricane Milton. Barbershops across the city have started to gather supplies to send directly down to Florida. Joe's Barbershop on Watterson Trail in Jeffersontown has been collecting items and is joining other barbershops across the city. That includes Brandon Lewis with Shady Park Barbershop.
We all reach out to each other if we need anything, as far as this, anything for each other's children, kids, family members, friends in the community. So it's a pretty tight-knit community.
Kayla Bagby with Joe's says she and her father are spearheading the drive. Her father is hoping to fill an entire trailer with goods to take down to Florida.
We were going to contact the people that we know in the areas and just kind of have them guide us, what places they know of that were impacted the worst and who may need the supplies, who's currently doing cleanup.
Such a tremendous effort here as the barbershops are collecting. They are collecting items like water, toiletries, non-perishable food, batteries, first aid kits, and medication. They hope to have all the donations by Monday morning to leave for Florida.
Can't walk that far, can't run, have trouble lifting weights.
That's Ava Jones there taking the stand today in Louisville, describing her injuries after she and her family were hit by a car. They were walking on the sidewalk at 2nd and Market in the downtown tourist district back in 2002. Michael Hurley, who is from southern Indiana, is accused of driving high on hydrocodone at fast speeds and hitting the Kansas family as they were visiting downtown Louisville for a basketball tournament. Today, jurors heard from Ava Jones. At the time of the crash, she was 17 years old and a Division I level athlete committed to play for the University of Iowa. Now, 2 years later, she describes her life after being severely injured in the crash, ending her basketball career.
Can't shoot basketball with it, so, I mean, not good.
What other things are affected on your right side? You talked about your hands.
Carrying, I work at a country club and I can't carry drinks because I am shaky on the right side of my body.
Did you do everything they told you to try?
Yeah.
And did you do it? And try?
I tried. I tried to.
Ava told the jurors and the courtroom that she's now a sophomore at the University of Iowa, but it's been a difficult journey as her traumatic brain injury still gets in the way of her short-term memory and mobility. Testimony will continue tomorrow. We expect to hear from Ava's mother, Amy. That's the scene from the breaking news we brought you right here on the night team at this time last night. Arson investigators still searching for the cause of this massive blaze that burned the 200-year-old vacant church east of downtown. This was the scene last night at about 8 o'clock at St. Paul's German Evangelical Church on East Broadway, located between Brook and Floyd Streets. Well, today from the Sky 11 drone, take a good look, folks. You can get a better picture now of this massive and once ornate church, looking down right into the 188-year-old sanctuary and the building. The Sky 11 drone can show you the burned out roof hiding behind the building's stone face. Now, the historic building once holding a promising future. Local historian Steve Weiser telling us today that there were talks recently for the building to become part of a hotel complex. However, now he worries the building's out-of-town owners are not properly taking care of the old church.
Was an out-of-town owner. If it was an in-town developer that owned it, he would have already have repurposed the building for a function. But yeah, when you have out-of-towners buying up our property and not paying attention to the maintenance of it, you end up with situations like this.
We tried contacting that owner today, but couldn't reach them. According to the Kentucky Secretary of State's website, the corporation that owns the building is in bad standing with the state of Kentucky and could have their license revoked. Codes and regulations records show inspectors visited the church 24 times in the last 3 years, most recently issuing violations against the owners for improperly boarding up a gate to the rear side of the building 6 days before this fire.